Hi, in this video we will dissect and understand a Spring Boot project. In the last video we actually created a Spring Boot application and we ran the application. So in this video we will see what are the things that consists within a Spring Boot application. Okay, what are the components inside a Spring Boot application. Okay, the first thing is the Spring elements, and you can see the beans folder here. Beans, as you all know, is a backbone of any Spring application. Okay, and the next thing what we see here is source main Java. Here we can see our demo application.java which has got created. The first line says the package and then the import. Okay, and the important line here is the line number 6, which says add Spring Boot application, which is called an annotation. The focus in Spring Boot is on convention rather than configuration. So there is a class path scan that happens, okay, whenever a Spring Boot application is run. So when this class is scanned, there is a annotation which is read. Okay, so whenever Spring reads this annotation, it treats this class as a Spring Boot application. So it will get to know that this class needs to be treated as a Spring Boot application. So that is the thing. Next line is the a simple main method. Okay, the line number 10 is the most important thing and which does all the work for us. Spring Boot application is a class. Okay, here you can see classes that can be used to bootstrap and launch a Spring application from a Java main method. It also creates an appropriate application context instance, it says, depending on your class path. So what is application context? Application context is the central interface within a Spring application for providing configuration information to the application. So it provides all the configuration information for the Spring Boot application. Okay, so it creates that instance. The next thing is the run method, and it has parameters. So what are the parameters for this run? It is the class file of this Java. Okay, you have demo application.java, and there's a class file gets which gets generated, right? That is the parameter, and this is the command line argument. So this is your complete Spring Boot application. Okay, so the next thing is the application properties, which is of the most important one. Okay, application properties, you can change the default values of Spring Boot application here, and the properties will be consumed by the project. If you remember, in the last video we had changed the default port from 8080 to 9090. Okay, because 8080 was default one used by IIS by almost all servers. Okay, all IIS servers. So this default values can be changed. This is just one example, and it will be in key value pairs. Okay, the next thing is the source test Java. Okay, here you can see the tests. This is basically to be a very specific JUnit test. Okay, here also you can see annotations which says Spring Boot test. Okay, so if we can run this as a JUnit test. Okay, you can run this run as and JUnit test. Okay, and it should not provide you any failures. The next thing is GRE system library, and this is the most common thing, and I will not get into the details of this. The next thing is the Maven dependencies. Now, see here you have a whole bunch of jars. So we did not download any of these jar files independently. I mean, one by one we did not download it, and we did not configure the build path of these jar files. We did not even know what are the versions matching for the Spring Boot application. For example, there is a match that happens between the jar files and between the version of the Spring Boot application, right? We did not mention any of these jars. So where did these jar files come from? These jar files came when we created the Spring Boot starter project. Okay, so when you go to new and Spring starter project, and here you will mention 1.5.6, right? In this Spring Boot version there is a match happening for all the dependencies, and Maven downloads you all the dependency files, so you need not have to worry about any of the version control. I mean, the version of jars of your dependencies. So Eclipse will take care of all that. that is about Maven dependencies. And the another important thing which you have to worry as of now is Pom.xml. So what is Pom.xml? It is the recipe used to build our project. For example, if you're preparing any dish in your kitchen, you will have a recipe in your hand. For example, if it's a new dish, okay, something like that. If you're developing a Spring Boot application, this is the recipe. Okay, here you can see the overview and the group ID, artifact ID, version, packaging, and these are the things that you had given while you're creating the Spring Boot application, right? So these are the dependencies: Spring Boot starter web, which we selected there. Okay, and there is a hierarchy for it: Spring Boot starter web to Spring Boot starter to Spring Boot. As of now, you need not have to worry about this. Okay, and let's click on Pom.xml. Here you see these parameters we selected while creating the Spring starter project, right? And that is why it displays here. We selected these options as well, the packaging using jar. And the most important thing is this one, the parent, because see, when you say I need the dependencies, I want to create a Spring Boot startup project, give me dependencies, and the Maven will look up for a parent from repository. So there will be always some jars which are residing, a version of full jars residing, and this 1.5.6 is considered as a parent for our Spring Boot application, and all the jars are provided for this version. So our project is a child project of this parent in terms of dependencies. Okay, and the next thing is the dependencies. The Java version here you have given as 1.8, which we have. The next thing is the dependencies. I have selected a web over there while creating Spring Starter project, and this is the test. And the plugins, it has come because we have selected the Maven build. So this is about Pom.xml. Please let me know your feedback. Thank you very much for watching the video.